Well, good day, my friends. It's your old pal, Jordan the Lion. How are you all doing today? I hope you said well. Today, we're going to have a blast. We are just outside of Blairs Town, New Jersey, and today we're going to be vlogging the first Friday the 13th movie. It was the first horror movie that I loved, and this time of year, you can actually tour the Boy Scout camp that they used for the first movie. So we have paid to tour that today, and we are going to start out in the town where this all starts out and then move over to the camp. So Daze with Jordan the Lion, you all, and Jason Voorhees begins now. So here's our first shot of Annie walking through town. It's changed a little bit, you can tell. Different bridge, different style bridge, but she's walking with her backpack all the way across there. And you also notice in the matchup, that's a different house there. The way that you can tell this is the proper location though is if you look in between, there's a little sliver of a house there. You can see that in the matchup shot through the trees. So then we have a shot of the camera panning down, showing this First National Bank building right here and the waterworks. And we end up seeing her walking through there. Then we have Annie walking through here with her backpack on and pops out this little hole here. And then we get a shot of her walking down from around this corner and down through here. At the time, that would have looked more like a red barn. And you can even see the two railings here and the two posts. It's a long walk. It's a good, I don't know, 15-20 seconds on the screen. And we're not going in it today, but here in Blairs Town, they actually have a Friday the 13th museum. The reason I'm not doing the museum is because A, it's not open yet, B, our tour is gonna have plenty, and C, it gives me a chance to return. Now we are taking off to Hope, New Jersey, and picking up the rest of our shots before we go to camp. Hope is about 10 minutes south of Blairs Town, then we're gonna go back to Blairs Town for a stop. So even though we never see it from the outside, this is the eatery that Annie goes in trying to find out where the camp is, Camp Crystal Lake is. So take a look at this. This is the inside of the diner. The way you can tell is because they actually sell pictures showing the matchup of it right here. So she comes in asking where Camp Crystal Lake is, and that's Enos on the right. So that would have been right directly in front of us. Also, the way you can tell is if you look out that window up there in the corner, we can see that right out this window as well. And they totally embrace the history here. I love it. So then we see Enos and Annie walking up here around this corner towards us. You can see that rock wall is still back there and the post. And when they start walking here and he makes that kind of perverted comment like, yeah, all the girls up there are going to be as cute as you. Then Ralph jumps out from out of nowhere over here. Says, the place is cursed, you know. You're not going to make it back. They start yelling about that. Enos starts yelling at Ralph to leave her alone. So we see them walking across the street to where Ralph's car is parked. The truck is parked over there, and that yellow building is still there, still yellow. They hop in the car. You see Ralph take off on his bike going around this curve right there. So that took place all at that corner right here. Then we see Enos take her for a drive and drop her off right in front of a cemetery, and that cemetery is right around the corner. So let's go over there now. So then we see his oil truck pull up right here. He lets her out right there in front of that sign, right in front of the Moravian Cemetery. And then she starts walking towards us. All right, now we are headed back to Blairs Town real quick. So we get a nighttime rainy shot of this exterior of the diner, and we see Steve Christie inside up at the counter. And I'm hungry, let's go. They just had their first ever Friday the 13th convention here. Wow, looks like Jason's already here. Check that out. So the layout is different than in the movie now, but this is the place. So this is another place that embraces the history of being in the movie. Awesome. I think we'll do that. Now we are heading to Camp Nobobosco. Another thing on my bucket list I never thought I'd get to do. Tour this camp. That's a lot of victims for today's tour. Alright, I am beyond excited. They call it Camp Blood. There's Crystal Lake. He's still out there. We are entering Camp Nobobosco. So you kind of start out by getting some free swag, getting a free water bottle. Here's the Camp Crystal Lake flag. Now we're going in the recycling building. So there's Barry and Claudette. Those are the first two killed in 1958. And they end up coming out here to make out. Basically right here in front of this pole with that in the background. And then we get to go upstairs and tour that as well. So he was actually a cameraman on the movie, and they just kind of threw him into this scene, and he called his girlfriend to be in the movie. So the first killings in the franchise weren't even cast actors. So they said they were actually scouting a different camp when they found this one. They just got lost. And when they saw how run down this was, they were like, oh yeah, this is perfect. So when they made the deal to film here, it came with everything that was on the property for them to use in the background. So this is where they would have been making out and where they would have got killed. How crazy is that to see? That was really cool to see. That's where the first murders happened. That's where, you know, Enos is telling her that 2 people were killed back in 58 and a boy drowned in 57. That was it. It's kind of cool. Every building that we get to, they have a big enlarged screenshot of the scene that happened there. That's crazy. That's where Jason's mother is, where she kills him and hangs him on the door inside this building. So this was the power generator building in the movie, and the actor, when they put the bloody prosthetics on his eye for the arrow to go through his eye, when he gets shot right through there, they used a toxic blood, and he actually lost vision for a long time. They said this is still the power source for the camp, so they can't let us in there, but that's where that happened. That's where he was killed, right on the other side of that doorway. Jason's mother. So that would have been in there. And there he is. So that's the office for the camp. And we can't go in there, but that's where the scene where she's breaking in the window right there happens with the board. It's inside that office. Right there. And then the garage door when she goes in to find a weapon and try and make the call. That's actually right here where the middle garage door is, the middle white garage door. Also, we can't go in there. Off we go. So crazy to see these woods. I mean, wow. You can't get on the property without doing the tour. So this is the best way I could do the filming locations. Now I think we're gonna see the fireplace in here. So here's the fireplace from the beginning, when right before they go sneak off and get murdered at the beginning of the movie. As you can see the paddles right there. So they were all kind of crowded around here. This is the main mess hall and everything. And they have a matchup photo right there of them at that exact fireplace. There you can see the rowing paddles. And they said that the kitchen that's right back here is where they used to use the ovens to bake the prosthetics that they used in the movie. So very cool to see. Even have a prop guitar there. Now we're headed off to the range. They warned us of bear sightings, and we already saw some bear droppings, so we were just talking, you know, it's funny, don't even think about it, but he doesn't even use the famous mask until the third movie. This is just when he pulls her into the water at the end. Really the only time you see Jason. There's the archery. See where he almost shoots her? So she would have came from that side over there, and he would have been shooting the arrow from there right into the middle one. It's crazy they said that that was a real arrow that they shot at her. The actor didn't shoot it. It was actually Tom Savini who did all the special effects. He was an accomplished bow and arrow shooter, so crazy. They said really it looks exactly the same. They added that little room down there at the end, but other than that, she would have came out of that way and got shot right about there. Well, almost got shot. I don't know who in their right mind would be a camp counselor after seeing these movies. Oh, I love this. There he is pulling her out of the water. Right there. They even have the boat there. That is so cool. He's still out there. He's still out there. You didn't find Jason?
Again, they started around mid-October when our camp season ended. So thinking about they got, 2 months of filming up seriously, and then they get through, they're filming random things at the end, trying to make sure the book is closed. They add this on, they need this film. By the time they film this, it is October 12th. Yeah. So I would not go in that water right now. It is definitely a serious hypothermia risk. Imagine what it is like on October 12th. Yeah.
Said the water's only about 2 feet, 3 feet deep. But at the time, this was a sandy beach. It wasn't quite as swampy as it is now.
Look at the trees in the background of this photo. Oh, yeah. What do you note about them? There, put some makeup on him, some cosmetics, whatever. Like, all right, great. This looks like a 12-year-old boy with makeup on. Definitely not the vibe we were going for. So they come down here, they scoop some of that clay out of the lake, they start baking it in, they're doing whatever. They're like, all right, this looks like a little 12-year-old boy who's been sitting down there for quite a few years. 3, 2, 1.
Jason!
We got a little song.
Oh, I see bubbling. I see him bubbling. He's down there. I knew it. I knew it. Here's the shower house we're going to tour. We definitely see a lot of that.
Right, so that's our shower house right there.
So they said during filming this was just a big cabin with a concrete slab floor, and that they created this all with basically plywood. So none of the toilets or sinks or anything worked. You see this is where Marcy ends up getting killed. She's trying to turn the sink on and it doesn't work and everything. So they recreated that whole shower and everything in here. Should have been right in there. See a little behind the scenes. Those are all beds. Now we're going out to Crystal Lake. In the movie, you see all the counselors out there hanging out and running around and playing on that dock over there. And all the brown, all that stuff, the fence and everything, that was all white in the movie. So cool to see this. Wow. And we actually see the end of the movie when the sheriff comes, he comes down this road right over here. Here we go, we're going over to the beach. And like I said, this was all white in the movie. Anytime you saw this. See, it's different now.
All right. So.
And this is where Alice and Jason's mom fight at the end, right here on this beach. So there's Jason's mom fighting Alice right here on this beach.
When they cut the head, you can actually even see one of the toothpicks go flying off to the left with the head with it. So definitely a nice pause moment I'd recommend next time you watch the movie through. These docks don't have to come out and get set up every year like they do in the movie, so a lot easier for us to just let them float there. They're nice, they're plastic, they're safer, you're not getting splinters from them.
Here's the stairs that Alice is coming and going from when she comes down to the beach. You can see right up there.
So definitely shows the lake rising / the boathouse sinking as they
is that way towards the boathouse. And you also see Crazy Ralph riding his bicycle up a path that would have went right through there before the water level rose.
I really wouldn't trust him to do that.
Over here is Brendas Cabin. They were saying that originally where Marcy and Kevin Bacon hook up were on the other side of that boathouse, there was a cabin. But, I mean, that's at least where we see them go in. But that cabin's been torn down. But they're also saying that they didn't film the interiors there. They actually filmed the interiors up here in Brenda's cabin. So we're going to go tour that next. That's when they're in there having sex and the roommate's on the bunk above and he's already been killed. Consequently, this is also where Kevin Bacon gets killed while he's laying there in bed feeling like a stud. Right there.
It's not bad. You see how big this thing is?
This is the cabin that we're in right now, that right there. So in half the cabin, it would have been Brenda's cabin that they filmed. You can see kind of like the dividing line right there, and then this was where Kevin Bacon and his roommate stayed. See, they have a replica totem pole up there by the door. They have the real one here when you start the tour in the front that I'll show you when we finish up.
Open up the right tab.
So right here's where Mr. Christie is chopping the wood when they first show up, right out here. And in the matchup shot of the front of this place when Alice is coming out, there was like a 3-pronged tree right there. You can still see the stump from it right there. And there's the window that Brenda gets thrown through after she's dead. That's why the window is different right there than all the others.
So, we got a bunch of scenes going on here as it is.
So now that we're in the cabin, we can see where they were playing Monopoly, like strip Monopoly at that table. You can see the board and everything, and then the fireplace. You can actually see right at the very top of it, there's a plaque. So we're in that room right now. Let me show you this. So there's the Monopoly board and the table. And there you can see that plaque back there. And this is when she gets scared and runs into the cabin in here. She grabs that rope and tries to tie up the door right here. They actually have the rope right there. She closes the door and ties it diagonally to keep anybody from coming in. That's really cool to see. And then her and Mrs. Voorhees have their fight right here in the pantry and everything. This actually would have been the kitchen at the time. They created the kitchen in here, and then the door over here, they created a fake pantry. So when you see all that stuff back there, so right here, you can see some pictures inside this room. Crazy Ralph. There he is standing in front of the pantry that would have been that doorway. And then here's the window that Brenda gets thrown through. That was so cool to see inside of there after all these years. So cool. Here you can see the scene where the officer is riding the motorcycle down the hill, and then the scene where Steve is hanging dead. The officer actually rides the motorcycle. It was the first time he'd ever ridden a motorcycle down this hill, and then turns it around to come back here. And they said that when Steve was found dead hanging, this used to not be covered. It used to be like a gazebo. And so he was hanging from one of the beams that was originally there. So now we're going in Alice's cabin. This is where they encounter the snake. And this is also where they film the intro, where the camera's going through the cabin showing the kids asleep in the bunks. Now what's crazy is that the director actually wanted his son to be Jason popping out of the water, and the wife wouldn't let him, said she didn't want her son to be like a horror monster. So here's the part where they show all the campers in the beds right here. And then when they're trying to chop at the snake, that would have been right down there on the floor. Even matching that up at the exit sign in the door down here. They said that the snake actually was killed. That wasn't a fake snake. That the snake handler didn't know they were going to do that. So here is where the lodge was. It was originally like a trading post that they used, and that's where they were fixing the awning, and he's telling her if she's still not happy by Friday, he'll send her back home. You can tell they're hooking up. But unfortunately that cabin is no longer here. And here they have an exact replica of the Jeep that Mrs. Voorhees is driving. And a little fun pick opportunity for the Camp Crystal Lake sign. And a replica of the original sign, but they have the real sign here. Let me show you. And then right over here, the original props, the original Camp Crystal Lake sign that they got to keep from the movie. The original Tomahawk Lane, and they actually show a clip from the movie right there. And then that totem pole, we saw the replica, they have the real one right there. As well as the mailbox from the movie. And you're saying that's not the original sign. Yeah, it is. See? Here they have a replica of the truck that we see the kids driving, and a replica of the totem pole that they passed to come into camp. For some reason it just seemed appropriate that it rained during my tour today, but this was a blast. Very expensive, but it was totally worth it for me. I hope you guys loved it. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed today's vlog. What a day. If it's your first time here, please hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Have a great night, and goodbye.